We're back? Question mark. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I don't know. That was a mess. That was a mess. He said, "Let me watch this ad." I need to work on these. Yeah, I need to be careful because Twitch ads are poisonous. After going through Jacko, what happened with Jacko? Yeah. We can stream directly from Xbox with the Streamlabs console. Really? You use Stream Elements now? I have Stream Elements, but I use I like Streamlabs. I've always used them. Well, you can't really skip the ads anyway in Twitch. They don't really have skippable ads, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Shout out to Akane Shogun with the 25 months of loyalty. Adblock didn't work for me. Yeah, I remember that. That was just kind of... I don't know if you guys watch Snowfall, but y'all need to. Y'all need to. Doesn't look like there's anything else interesting on Twitter from what I'm seeing. He said, "I'm not having fun anymore." What do I think about Michael B. Jordan confronting his classmate that called him corny? You know, that's actually a good question. That's actually a good question. I have, as someone who was repeatedly called corny, called white, called an Oreo, I know what that anger is like. I know what that anger is like. Especially when you come up and then people want to treat you differently. What people don't understand is that being called corny, being called Oreo, being called out for how you carry yourself, that stuff motivates you. You internalize that stuff and use it as motivation. I'll use a perfect example. As you know, on this channel, I'm very candid and open with the things and insecurities that I've struggled with because I'm just not afraid because I'm fighting to beat them. And I think it just makes me more human in general. Y'all can use them to make fun of me if you like, but, you know, let's see, are you bold enough to do that? Are you bold enough to share your insecurities to help somebody out that may be listening? That's food for thought. But I grew up being the stereotypical nice guy simp, friend zone guy. And as I grew up, and this was more in college than anything else. By a certain time where I figured out I started dressing better, beard growing, getting in shape, all of that stuff, I had a lot of motivation to get all the girls that I knew I could never get when I was in college. And that drove me, and that was my motivator. Now, I've realized now that it's just not worth the squeeze because you just turn into a monster, and I've stopped myself from turning into a monster on numerous occasions. Jacko can co-sign. People that know me, they can co-sign. But that's just an example of things that people used to make fun of you for, things that you used to resent when you were younger. That stuff motivates you. So for her to come back and then mention that we went to high school together, and I remember you calling me corny specifically, and now I'm on top. Now you want to interview me? What's up with it? She mentioned it. She laughed about it on the Breakfast Club. We called him corny in high school. He's corny, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, oh, the corny nigga up here now. What's up with it? You interviewing me, corny nigga. Y'all thought it was funny before, but now it's not funny. You interviewing me, maybe you should have been corny. Maybe you should have had some headshots and then you'd be where I'm at. So no, I don't blame him. And Joe Budden, what's wrong with you, Joe Budden? How dare you slander Michael B. Jordan, talk about you need to protect our sisters? This is the problem I have. Joe Budden, you are a weirdo for that. Black men, in specifically black men, have been insulted for not being the stereotype that we fight against on a daily basis. The stereotype that you perpetuate. And black women are a proponent of that. It's why so many niggas that are like me always thought black women would never like them. So they start latching on to white girls and they end up being some weird racist coon black man. It's because of that whole it's because of that whole stereotype. And then black women are like, oh, black men don't love black women anymore. Where do you think it came from? Where do you guys think that came from? It's a cycle. So you calling out Michael B. Jordan for attacking black women? What is that? That's so short-sighted. It's so ignorant. I just don't, it bothers my spirit. I don't like that. That's trash. That's garbage. It's absolute garbage. And you're projecting. Because Joe Budden never knew what it was like to be called corny as a black kid back in the day. Because when I tell you something, hearing white people say they were blacker than me and seeing my black friends laugh with the white person, you think that's not gonna sit with me? Hearing white people say nigga and saying, oh, the white person says nigga better than you. You think that's not gonna sit with me? You think I'm not gonna remember that? People making fun of me because I like the anime and all this other stuff. Now I tell them I'm a YouTuber. Oh my God, wow, that's amazing. You're a YouTuber. Oh my God, wow, I didn't know. That sits with people. That's what we as black people, as black men, we literally have to live up to some bullshit standard of masculinity that niggas like Joe Budden set up and spend our lives being uncomfortable with ourselves. And the moment we finally are comfortable with ourselves and we start prospering, the same people that made us uncomfortable with ourselves, now they want sympathy from me. You put me through years of discomfort with my own person, and now you want me to be humble. Kick rocks, nigga. Seriously. Kick rocks. You didn't appreciate me then, but you want to appreciate me now? Nah, keep the same energy. Keep that same energy. I don't want it. I don't want to be your friend, because these are the things that you need to know. These are the things that you need to know that are important. The people that loved you for who you are from the jump, when you're low, when you're down, those are the people that you will always remember later on down the line. And it definitely happens with women, 100%. The girls who were considered stereotypically ugly and corny in high school. And then the niggas be sliding in their DMs when they're a little bit older. They done glowed up. They bossing up now. They sliding in your DMs. I know many women deal with that. Oh, you was making fun of me in high school, but now you want these walls. Now these the walls you want. They deal with it too. That's why I would say, be careful how you treat people. Don't trust people like that. Don't do that. My friends that I have now, the friends that I knew in college, everyone's like, oh, Jay, I like your hair, I like your beard. Oh, Jay, you're cute, all this other stuff. They'll tell me all of that. In college, the way I dressed, the way I looked, the way I took care of myself, putrid. That's just my own personal view. They may have not thought that, but I thought that. They treated me the same way then. Now that I'm here, they treat me the same way. With love, care. Because they didn't judge me in my physical appearance, they judged me in who I am. But now, the people I used to be friends with, or the people that I'll never forget. This white boy, I'll never forget his name. His name was Brian. bro used to make fun of me all the time. That's the white boy that said I'm blacker than you, by the way. All the time, bro. I see him after a couple of years. I've been lifting, my chest wide, beard, hair, all of that. Yo, what's up, dude? Bro, it's been a minute, man. You look great. What's up, bro? We gotta go out sometime. In my head, I'm like, haha, yeah. In my own head, yo, fuck you, nigga. I don't like you. I never will. Don't talk to me again. Don't associate with me. That's all that's going on in my mind. I don't like you. I never will. To this day, Brian's a rat. To this day. To this day. They'll dap me up. I'll never forget it. Because back then, you were easy prey. They were able to pick on you because everyone else did it. Everyone else laughed. You got yours. People will pick on you and bully you if it is popular. If that's what the crowd is doing, which is why I speak out on Twitter sometimes. It's easy to join the mob. I've joined the mob before and I've caught myself. It's easy to join the mob because everyone else is doing it. So I'm like, yeah, man, yo, I'm with them too. Yo, we cool. Ha, we cool. It's harder to go against the grain and be like, nah, this is wrong. Nah, I don't like this. Nah, that's not funny. It's easy. The mob mentality back in the day, people like Michael B. Jordan are corny. Mob mentality now, I want me a corny man. I like anime. Ha, yeah. It's real cool now. Anime real cool now, ain't it? I'm happy anime spreading. I'm happy anime spreading. I think it's glorious, honestly. Anime is so common now, it's unreal. But back in the day, nah, you were a weirdo for liking it. Even in school, some people act differently when they're alone. They always do. But here's one thing I will say. It's human nature. It's human nature. It's in your subconscious to do these things. It's human nature. If you are capable of understanding that it's a part of human nature and then you're capable of removing yourself from that and just being an observer, you realize some people just can't help themselves. Simple. Now, it's a cool thing. Absolutely. And you know what now? What's the topic? They asked me about the Michael B. Jordan thing. I think at the end of the day, you just got to find your tribe, you know? No, but it's the healthy way to look at it, but it's also the most peaceful way to look at it, because what happens is we as humans, and this is something that's very, very important. It's philosophical, and you guys can disagree if you'd like. But the way we are as humans, and we're subject to human nature. I don't follow what's up with Michael B. Jordan. So before I say this, Michael B. Jordan, we're talking about him being called corny, the whole corny thing back and forth, right? And how basically I think Michael B. Jordan was absolutely right for reacting to her in that way, because again, don't call somebody corny, make fun of them for who they are, and because of who they are, they became successful now. So all of a sudden, now I'm not corny. He wanted her to keep the same energy. He remembered. She even mentioned we went to high school with each other. I'm like, oh yeah, we went to high school, but I remember you calling me corny. Don't try to use high school now to associate with me. Don't associate with me, basically. So I agree with him. Don't bring up high school and act like you can use that to associate with me. So that's important. So back to what I was saying. We as humans will always be subject to our human nature, no matter what. We're always going to be emotional. We're going to react to things emotionally. We're going to think we're doing things because we want to, but it's mainly because we're being ruled by our emotions in general. So we're all going to be subject to making mistakes. We're all going to be subject to pain, suffering, all based on our own emotional reactions and lack of rationale. What is important for you to learn as you're growing up is to understand that if you are ruled by human nature, The more aware of your human nature and the more you are aware of how human nature affects others, the more you're able to take a step back, react less, and be more rational with your responses. That's what it's really all about, right? It's the less pain you feel, the less offense you take to some people doing certain things. I'm like, well, it's just human nature. You just have better discernment in general, so you stay more even keeled. And you're still gonna feel those emotions. Your emotions don't go away. The difference is my mic high again? I hope not. Let me check. The difference is that you'll be able to realize that you have human nature. Be like, I'm feeling all these emotions, and you'll take a step back. You'll take a step back and you'll be like, wait a minute. Let me not react right now while I'm feeling this way. Let me deal with these emotions, then respond later. And personally, a goal of mine is I'm not gonna let anyone make me respond immediately no matter what. I'm very good at responding immediately, but I think one, it means I'm not that good of a listener. And two, sometimes I really want to make sure I make a decision not based on emotion, because decisions based on emotion can always lead to catastrophe. For me as a Christian, it's easier for me to do that because then I respond to a higher power. There's rules in place in the Bible that teach you these same concepts. So for me, it's not just some willpower thing that I'm doing. Now I'm holding myself accountable to God. And once I'm doing that, it's so much easier. To be honest with you, personally, it's easier because it's not just me now, it's me and God. But that's just me personally. If you don't believe in God, then we're talking from a base human perspective. And we're leaving the spiritual out of it. From a base human perspective, you have to take the time out before you react emotionally and think rationally about what it is you really want to do and how you really want to respond to it. Because you always will make a better decision with a clearer mind than instead of going off with your emotions. And it's really hard to do. It takes time. It takes practice. I've gotten better at it. I used to be extremely reactionary, as you can tell with my content. But the older I've gotten, the better I've got at it. I catch myself now where I'm like, yo, man, I was really tripping. I was wilding. Sometimes I'll go crazy with my boys. And then I'm like, yo, man, I messed up. I'm sorry. And just apologize. Don't even feel bad about it. Just own up to it, apologize, and move on. Don't feel bad about it. Don't start sulking. Don't start walking around. Nah, just own up to it. Be like, yo, my bad, bro. I overreacted. And move on. If they want to hold it against you, they weren't really your friends to begin with. Well, it's not even that, but maybe some people just need time to get over things. There's also that. I'm glad my mom taught me to ignore people growing up. I took a lot of verbal punishment in middle school, but it died down eventually. Absolutely. And you know, it's funny because I always wonder whether you should stand up for yourself and answer back or not, because that's like the antithesis of it, right? You're always supposed to respond back so people can respect you eventually, right? So that's kind of the antithesis of that. The difference is you understand why it's like this, so that stops your reactionary tendencies, which enables you to make better decisions. Exactly, Gino said. The thing is, it's hard to change your mentality because you don't have the time to take a step back because reactions are instant. I agree. So here's the thing. As a Christian, it's easier because, you know, if you guys don't really understand it, for me personally, I instantly feel God telling me, yo, bro, like, you need to slow down. Like, the more in tune you are with God, you kind of hear that voice that tells you, like, go slow down. For those that don't believe in God, it's an active training. So what you need to do to figure that out is you need to be reflective. And I mean, when you go home, reflect on what you went through that day and be like, I reacted there at that moment. Take a note of that. If that happens again, I want to remember the last moment. What you're supposed to do is you continuously reflect every night on your actions, day in, day out, for a couple of weeks, till it's a habit for you to reflect. What will happen is you're training your brain to catch yourself in reactionary moments. The moment you're able to catch yourself in reactionary moments is the moment you know you're about to react, and your brain will be like, yo, bro, we've been working on this for months. Slow down. Once you're able to get to that point, and you do it a couple of times more till you build the habit to stop before you react, that's when you're dangerous. That's when you're extremely powerful. And that also depends on what's the word? The emotional gravity of the situation. It depends. So like if you look at characters like Tommy Shelby, you look at those badass characters that always respond to crisis calmly. That's practice. If you notice, they always have an army background, where they're forced to make decisions under duress. Like that's what it means to be a military officer in general, to be able to make decisions under extreme pressure. So that's why you'll see someone in the military are very good at making decisions instantly without reacting, because you're literally trained to. You're trained to. And it's in much more dire circumstances. People's lives are on the line. So you're forced to make instant adjustments over and over and over again. When it comes to corporate, workplace, all of that, they're already used to it. That's why you always see these backgrounds. That's why you see all these like dramas in these TV shows. The main character has a military background. Tommy Shelby, super stoic character, military background. Alfie Solomon's military background. Most of these guys have a military background because they're trained to react to certain situations. So they always think no matter what, it will never be as bad as what I saw in war. Never. It'll never be as bad until your emotions until it comes to like your wife, your kids. That's the most vulnerable state a man can ever be in, is if his wife and kids are in danger. I've been doing rotations in the emergency department, and that's what we all, man. Exactly. You would know. Like, you'd be surprised how much you can change who you are with effort. Change takes a long time to do. That takes a long time to do. This is why your parents always repeat themselves. When you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's why they always repeat the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because at one day it's going to stick. You're going to remember it over and over and over again. The way you wash dishes, the way you're supposed to sink a dish if there's food on it so it doesn't get crusty. These are all things my mother taught me and screamed at me for. You just remember it. That's why parenting is so important. That's why parenting is something that you should not take for granted. You shouldn't. And that's why, and this is going to be very controversial. That's why you can tell when kids have actually gotten their ass beat and when kids haven't gotten their ass beat. Because there's just certain things you won't do because you know you got your ass whooped for it. In a controlled manner. Because we're not going into the abuse. I'm talking about in a controlled manner. There are certain things that you won't do because you would get folded by your parents. But kids that act in a certain way, I'm like, oh, you never got your ass whooped, ever. You never did. You can tell. You can always tell someone that never got beat before. Always. Because you're talking crazy. What are you talking about? Kids that be talking back to their parents like willy-nilly. It shocks my soul seeing the way kids talk back to their parents some days, bro. It shocks my soul. I just don't believe it. Where's the respect for the parents? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Because one thing that a lot of people don't understand, all the studies that we show, oh, you don't need to spank your kids, all that. I understand. I'm not advocating that you should spank your kids. Raise your kids how you want to raise your kids. But here's what I want you to understand about these studies. These studies, you don't see the negative effect of these studies immediately. You see them 5, 10, 15 years down the line when you see a 30-year-old acting like a 7-year-old. Never been trained. That's how you know that nigga never got whooped in his life. Ever. Because my parents would have beat that out of me at 12. But here you are acting like a 12-year-old. People always want, look, Asian kids, Indian kids, African kids. Always respectful to adults. Why? They got beat. They're house trained. You're taught to respect your elders no matter what. Now, the problem is you have to unpack that because there's trauma in that alone. That's different. There's trauma in that alone, because then you have to learn how to talk to adults, and then you have to learn how to be an adult and all that other stuff, man. Like there's always negatives to parenting, right? And also there's some things you just don't need to be spanked for, you know? Like there's some things you just don't need. You don't need the belt for that. Like there's some things my parents that I got beat for. I'm like, all right, that wasn't. All right, man. Like, you know, you sitting there like, all right, it wasn't necessary, you know? So that's what we as parents will do older. Like for me, there's a lot of things that my parents spanked me for that I probably won't spank my kids for. Just a lot. There's a lot of things. There's a few things I'm like, I don't really think a spanking is necessary here. But there are certain things. There are certain things where I do think it's necessary. I definitely think there are certain things where I think it's necessary. It's a very delicate balance, but parenting is hard. If your parents are beating you up, that means they care for you. That's not always the case. That's not always the case. That's not always the case. I will say that's not always the case. Because I've seen some stories where I'm just like, y'all are just, I don't know, y'all not even like trying to teach the kid, man. Y'all just taking out frustration. You're not even, you know. Arab parents take liberties with the beating sometimes. Oh, yes, they do. It's always the intention. Oh, I've got one I deserve too. Trust me. They would, 10 months of loyalty from Sticky. Appreciate you, Big Sticks. Parenting is an art. One thing that sometimes you guys just don't, sometimes I feel like we just don't realize, yo. Parenting is just people our age doing trial and error with children. Sometimes you don't realize now when you're like 25, 26, 28, 30. You think you know how to raise a kid right now? Our parents were raising kids at our age. They trying. They're figuring it out as they go. Just like we do with our job, just like we do with our life. They're doing the best they can. Younger sometimes too. They're doing the best they can. They're doing the best they can. So if you had good parents and you hate some of the stuff they do, sometimes you just gotta realize they were just like you at one point, man. They just trying to figure it out. They just gonna figure it out. I was a terrible child. I got 5 detentions on the first day of first grade. My dad beat the goofy out of me. I never looked back. Oh yeah, everyone knows that one beating that changed them forever. Everyone knows that one beating that changed them forever. There was one day, bro, I got an in-school suspension. I had like 9, they were called demerits back then. 9 demerits. My dad whooped my ass. Folded me like a lawn chair. To this day, never got an in-school suspension again. Never. That was it for me. I was like, nope, not going through that again. That was hell. Never. Never go through it. Never hit me on the face either. Just straight up belt. We remember those. I remember that one. And you know what's worse? The worst ones is when you hear the beatings your siblings get. Those are the ones that scare you more. Because it's like a nightmare. It was a nightmare. It is. When you hear your siblings getting beat, sounds like they're dying for real. It's that fear. That fear is different, son. Because you know you next in line. When you know you next in line, boy, you start getting on your knees. You praying to God. You're like, God, please. You praying in tongues. You got the Bible out, bro. Oh, my goodness. You taking communion at home. It's terrible. You're like, Lord, if there's a way. You're like Jesus before the cross. If there's a way you can pass this cup away from me, Lord, please. Don't let me be the one to receive this. Sweating blood. It's terrible. I give advice to people and learn from their mistakes. People learn from my mistakes all the time, man. People learn from my mistakes. This is why I'm so open with you guys. I just don't want you to make the mistakes I did. And I also and I also implore you guys to figure out your own solution that works for you best, because you can do that. You are smart enough to know what works for you and what does not, because you know yourself better. So if you know I made a mistake, be like, this is the type of person I am. I don't want to be in this situation because it doesn't adhere to who I am. I won't do that. That's how you're supposed to do it. That's how you're really supposed to solve problems. You solving problems in your life starts with knowing who you are and what you need to be. 500 subs in this stream? Who knows, mate? Who knows? But that's really the truth. That's really the truth. What's up, Chosen? How you doing, man? That's really the truth, man. Most loving parents just mean well. A lot of us look back and say, yeah, of course. Sometimes, yeah. I'll never forget when I called my dad by his first name. Or I think I called my mom by her first name. Terrible experience for me. Let's just say I didn't have a good time. It's one of the worst things you can do as an African kid. Terrible. That was a bad time. My dad slapped me so quickly, son. I swore he used the Rokushiki technique, the way he moved. Boy, you Suru. I just couldn't believe it. Never seen my dad move that fast before. I've never seen it. I was scared. It's like he used flash step. I just couldn't believe it. It's like a speed blitz. My dad speed blitzed me with an African slap. Shave. Yeah, you know, bro. Everybody knows. Thunder Bagua, bro, but with a slap. I've still, to this day, I've never called my parents by their first name. Do you know how long it took me just to call adults by their first name, bro? Yeah, man. Or like for those who used to go to church, bro, and you start acting up in church, or you see kids acting up in church, and their parents take them to the bathroom, you just know it's over. Smackdown. You just knew. You just knew. You knew. To me, it was my favorite pastime. Seeing that kid act up. See, this is how evil we are. We sitting in the back of the church, you see that kid acting up, acting a fool. And you're just thinking to yourself, man, someone stop this kid, man. Someone stop him. Then you see the mom get fed up, dragging the kid to the church bathroom. And you just sitting there yelling, I got my joy back, let's go. You're like, let's go. Tear that nigga up, tear him up. You come back, not a word for the rest of the service. Not a word. He didn't say nothing. You know that nigga suffered in there. Tore his ass up. I said, God, thank you. Thank you. I got my joy back. Absolutely. We all got, the whole church got their joy back. You used to be respected for taking care of business. Out here interrupting the Lord's sermon, trying to take the word from us because you don't know how to behave. That's what I'm trying to say, bro. That boy called an L1 elastic on the bathroom. Yo, he called that L1 elastico. He didn't know what was coming. He ain't know. He didn't know. Oh man, I can't wait for where is Rat? When is Rat the Glory? Oh my goodness. If you guys want to know the origin of Rat, I think this is necessary. Jacko, I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary because if you want to know where I got Rat from, you guys will see it now. There is this YouTuber. It's necessary for you. This is necessary. I'm not gonna show the whole video because I know you guys aren't FIFA. I know you guys aren't FIFA heads. What is it? Is it Run the Foot Market? Oh no, I'll just type in Rat the Glory. The very first one. This is his intro. This is the origin of the. This is the origin. Don't be a fake rat. So like you have this, and then we get to like the amazing quality, and then what is it? Best of Rat to Glory, where they have like best of Rat to Glory, best moments. Yeah, there it is. These. It has some opening. It's the same opening, yeah. This is how a rat plays. Everything you're supposed to do when you're playing FIFA. Oh, one elastico. You just have to be a rat no matter what. It just means being toxic. Right here. Like I said, maybe it's being a rat. You just got to be a rat, man. This is what it means to be a rat. One order of rat stew. That's what it means to be a rat. There you go. I think. Here we go. One of the most. You see, this is the origin of a rat. This is what it means to be a rat, chat. Now you understand where it comes from. Anyway, I'm sure you guys get the point. Now you understand. This man walked so we could run. I'm very scared to see what Karen posted here because it's not coming up. Only Karen would do this. I was a mouse before I came, and now you're a rat. Only Karen. Genius for hire. A lion. Okay, fair enough. I like the mentality. Manga isn't always canon? I don't know. They're just like that black guy I fought in Wano. Retweet. 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 Definitely getting retweeted. Go ahead. I'll just drop something off there. You know what I'm saying? I do want to watch that Mario stream. I'm not gonna lie. Is there anything else? What is this? Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's kind of wild, nigga. That's kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie. Who is this? Oh, this is Catwoman from Harley Quinn. I bet. Fair enough. I felt that. I felt that one. I'm not gonna lie. I felt that. I felt that. I'm about to say, bro, like, I mean, I never really knew the context, to be honest. I just knew the congratulations meme, but I never knew like the deep context. Like, I know he broke up with his girl, but I don't know, man. That's kind of hurtful, bro. Like, it's sad because I never found the video of the situation. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, man. I think we as men, maybe not all of us, but we've all gone through something where somebody would just leave you high and dry. And you just feel like they never cared. You know? You just feel like they never cared at all. And it hurts a lot because then you spend a lot of your time thinking, was it all a joke? Were you just using me for something? Like, oh, it's just, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think I'm ever going to use that congratulations meme again. I don't think I'm ever going to do it. I'm sorry. Lose your daughter. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I know what that's been like. I know what that's been like. I know what it's like to hate somebody so much, but also try and not hate them because you once had love for them. So you don't want to hate them no more. But that bitterness and those unanswered questions and that pondering, it torments you. It torments you for a while. I feel for Tyrese because he was married and he had a daughter. So you add marriage and then a child on top of that, and then you don't really have any explanation. Appreciate you, Dream. And thanks, Sticky, for gifting Dream a sub. That's why context matters. I agree. I agree. That's just hurtful, bro. We love you too, Jesse. Appreciate you, man. That's why. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes Twitter makes me so angry. Twitter makes me so angry because you'll see people just like rag on somebody endlessly for sharing their emotions and feelings about that. And I don't know, man, like, again, it hurt me. Like, I'm curious to see how people respond to that. I want to hear, I low-key really want to, I kind of want to listen to this album, bro. The paparazzi trying to end the conversation. I'm like, what was y'all trying to do? He was cooking, bro. Yeah, I just personally, I would never. And then someone's like, so this is actually a good topic. This is a good topic actually. So here, isn't he in love with his new GF? LOL. Why is he venting about his ex-wife 2 years later? So here's why I think this is important. Here's why I think this is important. The hurt that you feel from a divorce or a breakup, the worst pain that anyone can truly feel is heartbreak. I'm going to tell you why that's the worst pain any human being can feel. Because heartbreak is constant. It's constant, and you're full of reminders, and there's always things that will remind you of that pain. And depending on how much time you spent with that person, if you have a child with them, if you got married to them, that heartbreak lasts for such a long time that it lingers. So you could have somebody next to you that loves you for who you are, and you love them, and they're always there with you. But when they are away, What heartbreak does is heartbreak reminds you of that pain because your heart is still broken. It takes time. I had a best friend who dated somebody for 9 years. They broke up. She was with a dude for 1 to 2 years. She's still experiencing trauma from it. There's still certain things she just can't believe her man says because she spent 9 years with a nigga who wouldn't propose to her. So she just wouldn't have time. It happens. That's why I don't like making fun of people that got their heart broken. I don't, because I know what it's like. I know what it's like. I know what it is like. Heartbreak is horrible. And the worst part is women are coddled more for their heartbreak and men are insulted more for their heartbreak. Do you see how terrible that is? Think about that for a second. When women get their heart broken, there is so much more coddling and comfort for a woman. But if a man gets his heart broken, nobody takes care of him emotionally. Nobody coddles him. They say, go to the gym and fuck some hoes. Excuse my language. I apologize. I'm trying to stop cursing. But seriously, they tell you to drown yourself in some scratch, get in the gym, and you'll get over it. And then they lie because they always heartbroken. I have a friend that I saw the pain this man went through. This girl put him through hell and high water. Hell and high water. I saw it in his face. My man was devastated. Didn't want to talk to no girls. Now he's drowning himself in some walls. Religiously. Talking about, I'm never going to fall in love with no girl, yada, all this other stuff. That man is still heartbroken. And if it wasn't for the fact that his girl realized she made a mistake and won't leave him alone, it's boosting his ego, but his heart is still broken. Matter of fact, she's not letting him heal because of that. They say, why did you care so much? Exactly. There's never been a time where men's feelings have mattered. This is generally the period of time when it's mattered most. Yes, seriously. They think all men are pimps and that's not the reality. Like I said, man, and this is why and I might upset some people with this. Just say you can confirm if I'm wrong. Women will be heartbroken. But I know I have female friends out the wazoo. Every time they go through a breakup, there's always some guy waiting. They have him lined up, always. They'll still be heartbroken. They'll still miss their guy. They'll still miss him. But there is always a nigga. Oh, I went on a date yesterday. I saw this guy yesterday. I hooked up with him, but I was just sad. Some men just don't even have the capacity to sleep with someone else because their heart's not in it. Their heart's not in it. I've been there. I've had my heart broken. And while I was sleeping with somebody, my heart wasn't in it. I'm like, what am I even doing here? You can't even enjoy it. Yes. And some of them niggas are your homies. Liking your girl's story. Just ain't telling it. Put a little heart on that story. I'm here, I'm watching, haha. And you know the worst part is? I can always tell when a girl just broke up with their man. You wanna know why? They start dumping out selfies. Cute little selfies. Dumping them everywhere. Thirst traps out the wazoo. They trying to make you hurt and they trying to get the attention to make them feel better. And you wonder why niggas like Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, and Kevin Samuels, you wonder why they're so prominent. They're poisoning the minds of young people. Because those heartbroken men are the easiest targets. Easiest targets, because they'll show, I'm bagging all these women. All these women that heartbroke you, all these women that broke your heart, it's because they're trash. So now it's your turn. Break their hearts. Let them know what they're missing out on. You hate Andrew Tate. You hate Kevin Samuels. You hate Fresh and Fit. But you niggas the one are throwing these men to them by not taking care of them. You just tossing them to the red pill community. Tossing them to Andrew Tate. And then you cuss out Andrew Tate and Kevin Samuels for getting the bag. Tell me the difference between Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels, and an OnlyFans women. Tell me the difference. They both making money off broken, insecure, simpish men. Both using them. Tell me the difference. What's the difference? The difference is some of them niggas just might be terrible people. Well, obviously, yes, there's human trafficking. Obviously that. But what's the difference? We're talking about the red pill content here. Allegedly. Thank you. We're talking about red pill content here. By the way, people wish death on Kevin Samuels. He ain't do nothing to nobody. Tell me the difference. Because there is one is glorified. They say, get the bag, queen. Who cares if they're taking? It's their fault for giving them money in the first place. It's the man's fault. Why do they keep feeding into it? These women are taking advantage of these broken men who can't get the amount of women that all the other men get, so they satisfy themselves with porn. And because of that porn, which you gotta pay for, they come up and they're still sad and they're still depressed. But they become reliant on you. So when they don't want to rely on your paid for porn that you give out, who are they running to? The niggas that make fun of them and empower the women that are taking advantage of these men? Or are they gonna go to somebody that's telling them, fuck those girls, you don't need them. Do this, this, and this, and you'll be saved. You guys you're not paying attention. You're not observing it. You're not observing it. One way or another, men is the currency. Men, their sadness, their loneliness, their simp behavior, it's all currency to everybody. And then we talk about, and then you add that. You add that to then them saying men ain't shit, toxic masculinity, all this other stuff. Men don't even know who to be anymore. Because the moment they try to stand up for themselves, they're toxic. Next thing, it's a patriarchy. Then when they're emotional, they're simps. Where's the rehabilitation? Where's the comfort? Where's the emotional well-being? How are we taking care of these men? You're not. You're just pushing them into one hell and then throwing them into another. One way or another, you're throwing them into hell, and it's memes for y'all. You sit there and make fun of these niggas. This is why I never. This is why when I see people simping on the internet, I don't make fun of them because it makes me sad. I've been there before. I remember that lack of self-worth I used to have, trying to garner for some girl's attention because she posted some thick thighs on Twitter, and you comment on her post and you be like, oh man, I hope she talks to me. You feeding off scraps for attention. You're feeding off scraps for likes. You're paying a girl $5.99 for her to notice you and say, hi, daddy, send you a picture. Then she goes fuck some nigga who don't give a shit about her. But that's what sustains your life, is that crumb of attention. Because your self-worth is that low, that crumb of attention, that some OnlyFans girl who thinks you're nothing but a dollar sign. That's where you get your love from. But no, it's the man's fault because they shouldn't buy it. So we support that. We support men being taken advantage of for the sake of sex work. But then you condemn the people that you hate, which is the red pill community, for trying to take the same men, profit off them, and try to build them up into drones and clones of people that disrespect women. Jay, controversial, but I want to know your input on this. If your friend sleeps with your girl, you're obviously dropping that girl. But do you drop the friend too? It's like, did your homie do you a favor, or was that radish behavior behind your back? It's code. It's principle. It's principle. It's just principle. It's just principle. Because no matter what you approve of, when you sleep with somebody, you're connected to them, no matter what. It's principle. You just don't do it. You're better off not doing it. A real friend will know that and be like, yo, he slept with her. I'm not touching her. We good. And there are cases where it happens. If it was like a one night stand, you hooked up with her, you're just like, okay. But if you really had something for that girl, if you feel her, because remember, it's your girl. So it means you've been with her more than once. You slept with her more than once. Once you've built an established type of relationship where you felt something for her and your homie sleeps with her, it's over. Unless it's a one night stand or just a casual hookup here and there, there's emotions there, and you're better off not doing it. You're better off not doing it. This is why I constantly work on making myself happy and mind your business. Absolutely. You can't. All right, I gotta go. I'm so mad. I have to go. There's a Zoom meeting I need to join. Yeah, I gotta go. I'm pissed, but I do have to go. Just because this is we stumbled upon something that I've always thought, but this is food for thought, guys. Do not make fun of people that need help. If they don't want help, that's on them. You don't need to help them. But when you notice something is wrong, know there's always two sides to the same coin. Everyone that's like a socialist and all this, we hate this, yada, 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 whatever. Again, personally for me, bro, I'm not going to hate on you for doing OnlyFans. That's on you, but I will never support it. I'll never support it. I'll never date a girl who does OnlyFans because I just know that you're taking advantage of people. That's what capitalism is all about. So if you say you're a liberal, you're a socialist, and then you support OnlyFans, it's capitalism 101. So it's capitalism when it's in your favor. You're taking advantage of people for your bag. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Hassan crying right now, that's on him. Hassan takes advantage of y'all too. But again, we'll get into that later. We'll talk later. Appreciate you guys.